Good afternoon, my friends. We had about a half inch of snow we woke up to this morning, but now it's all gone because the sun comes out just a little here along the driveway. But it is still at 3:30 p.m., only 8 degrees outside, and I know it doesn't look it. What do you think, Brandy? Too cold to go outside? Yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make us some vegetable beef soup. That'll be a good dinner for a cold, chilly day for when Kelly gets home. And let's do it. So in the freezer, we have a bunch of soup bones. This is probably a quarter of what we have down there. And I need to start using them. These are beef soup bones. Looks really good. So we're cooking these down, getting the goodness out of the all the bones and all the connective tissues. And then once this boils down, we'll pull the bones out of it and put the rest of this soup together. Kelly has just purchased this nice cast iron enameled Dutch oven. So we're giving it a try today. It's a nice big Dutch oven, bigger than my old cast iron one I got back here. Pretty cool. Whenever you buy a Dutch oven, make sure it's got these little dimples under the lid. And what that does, when the moisture condensates on the lid, all those little dimples will cause little droplets to drop down on whatever you have in your pot. So if you're cooking meat, it acts as a self-basting pot. Every one of those little dibbles will be dripping moisture back onto your meat. See, my cast iron pot has the same thing going on inside. So this has been boiling for about an hour, maybe a little longer. And we've been pulling the bones out as they separate from the meat. There's still a few more bones in there, but they'll break loose. So with about an hour to go, I chopped up a large white onion and about 3 carrots into bite-sized pieces. So we're going to start getting those tenderized a little bit. And we're going to cut up some potatoes into bite-sized pieces also, because I want some potatoes in this. Now we've added 4 small Yukon Gold potatoes. We cut them up into about 3/4 inch pieces. And we'll stir those down into the liquid with the rest of the ingredients. And we'll let this simmer for about another hour. I've increased the heat to bring it up to a simmer, and then I'll turn it back down. And then as we pull the rest of the bones out and stuff, we'll start adding some spices and some seasonings. We also added a 32-ounce container of beef stock as well. So we'll bring this up to a simmer and cover her back up. Now if you don't want potatoes in your soup, you could always use pasta. Just change up the starch a little bit. Whatever pasta you like, or you could use the really small pasta, like the orzo. It's like rice size, so you could replace the potatoes with that. While we're waiting for this to come back to a simmer, I've added 3 bay leaves, about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning because it's got a good mixture of all the nice earthy herbs that I like, and about 3 cloves worth of crushed garlic. And that's really going to help the flavor in your soup. Now some of you might be asking, what's the difference between soup and stew? Because the ingredients are very similar. And I think a lot of it's the consistency. Stew's a little bit thicker and soup is thinner. And plus, we are going to add a jar of our canned tomatoes. And stew generally does not have tomatoes in it. So this will have kind of a tomatoey base to it. So I think basically that's what your differences are. Now you probably noticed that's a lot of beef for a pot of soup. And I like the beef to be the star of the show. I don't skimp on the beef in my vegetable beef soup. I like it to be really a hearty soup. Now, my mom made vegetable beef soup a lot when I was young. She'd make a big pot of it, and we would eat on that all week. And of course, when I was a little kid, I really didn't care for, eating the whole vegetables in the soup. So mom would always ladle me out some juice and put crackers in it, and that's what I ate. I love the flavor of it. I just didn't like the idea of the celery and all that. And I still don't like celery to this day. And you probably noticed that I didn't add celery to my soup. But you could do that. This is one of those things that you just know it's going to be good because you see the ingredients going in it. And it even looks delicious. So it's one of those things. It may not be your kid's favorite because, again, the vegetables, but they'll really love the flavor. But if they're not picky eaters, they'll love this soup. Good stuff. Okay, friends, it's been simmering for about another hour and 20 minutes. We've pulled the rest of the bones out of the soup. We've added our 32 ounces of crushed tomatoes from the garden. And I also added some kidney beans that I had left in the fridge. Those are optional, of course. Actually, any ingredient in this soup is optional. So all we have left is we're going to adjust this salt and pepper to taste, and it's going to be ready to serve. So look at this goodness. I wish you could smell it. It just smells amazing right now. So there's another bay leaf we'll get rid of. That's what she looks like. Now, if you like a lower fat version of this, you don't need to do anything different other than cook this early in the day before. Let it cool down, put the whole pot in the fridge or whatever vessel you want to put it in. Let it sit in the fridge overnight. All of the oil and the grease that has rendered out of that meat will come to the top and it'll solidify. And then the next day you just peel that layer off. It'll be hard. You can peel it right off, throw it in the garbage, and then there's literally no fat left in your soup. All right, Kelly's home from work, and our soup is ready. The meat is fork tender, and everything's simmered really nicely. I've skimmed some of the oil off the top. You can see over there. And then after that congeals tomorrow, I'll pour whatever juice is left back in our leftovers so we don't waste any of that. But a good serving suggestion would be some nice saltine crackers or some real good crusty bread. Or some real good buttered sourdough bread would be fantastic with this. But it's wonderful. We've adjusted our spices so it's spot on flavor. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you try it. If you do, I'm sure it'll be one of your staples in the winter. There's nothing better than coming in out of a frosty cold day and having something nice and warm to put in your stomach. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come on back and see us.